just waiting to get the notification, sir. And I should be getting a notification now. Okay, and we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in for a special edition of Off the Record this evening with a great servant, soldier, and leader in the community, in and out of the house, with student Capt Tyrone Muhammad, who served in Dallas, Texas for a decade.
Yes,
and has been putting work in the nation for many years. First of all, I want to say assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, and thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
For having me.
Yes, sir. Now, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad?
Whoa, actually, brother, when I actually thought about it, it was Muhammad Ali actually came to my hometown, a little town in Arkansas called Helena, Arkansas, back when I was like 9th grade. And he was in the school gym, and he was teaching on the wickedness of the white man. And I was on the edge of my seat. Excuse me, I was on the edge of my seat agreeing with everything he was saying. And I really, that's my first, and before I came actually into the nation to serve under the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I had kind of forgotten it. But when I came in, I thought about my first touch with the teaching with Muhammad Ali, actually.
Muhammad Ali.
Got a chance to shake his hand, get his autograph, everything.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Okay, yes. Wonderful. Yes, sir. But so Muhammad Ali. Okay, so that's 9th grade. Then how did you, from 9th grade, how did you get acquainted, reacquainted, or get connected to the Most High Louis Farrakhan?
Well, that was, I was, I hate to say it, I was at the frat house.
Can you please? I was going to ask you a question about that. Now, what fraternity? What fraternity are you a proud member of, sir?
Well, the only real fraternity that exists, and that is Omega Psi Phi until the day I die. So yes, sir. But I was actually at the University of Texas at Arlington. We had a nice frat house there, and we had the former captain of Dallas, Brother Derek Muhammad. He would always be playing tapes and of the minister. And so I would always like, hey man, who is that? Who is that? Because I wasn't aware of him. So he would say who it is, and I wouldn't really pay too much attention because I was doing frat stuff. And so at that particular time, I would make mockery of him, and he would do everything it was just to get me to come to a study group. And one day I went to a study group, and I haven't stopped coming since. That's the truth. So that's who ended. Brother Derek Muhammad, still thank Allah for him. Also frat, because he was frat. He was just in another room of the frat house. That's all. But he was trying to stay sane in a corrupt world that we were living in. Yes, sir. So he would be playing the minister, and we cutting up in the back room. So yeah, so Brother Derek actually introduced me to the teachings and invited me out, and I enjoyed serving under his leadership as the captain and a lieutenant under him for several years.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, so now you're in the frat house with Brother Derek. What was it about when you went to the study group? What was it about the teachings that made you hold on to it? And grab a hold to it and want to join?
Well, what he was saying, I agreed with everything that he was saying. My only issue was my impediments. And I did not disagree with the teachings at all. Because I grew up in rural Arkansas around the cotton fields. So I had already known how bad the Caucasian was. Actually, I'll give you a quick story. When I actually came to college, because I was very used to overt racism, outright overt, and it was where they drive by, spit on you, throw bricks at you, drive through your neighborhood. That's what I grew up with. So when this is the honest God's truth. When I came to college, I called my mother and told her, I said, these white people are not even prejudiced. Because they was so covert with theirs, but I was used to the overt racism as a young boy. If they didn't like it, they said they didn't like it. I mean, how they said it and how they came at you. So that was my experience with dealing with that. So again, with brother Derek, what he was introducing me to was I mean, the teachings, I agreed completely with them. But I'm at the frat house, I'm wilding out, quite naturally. And my only issue was I couldn't give up the women. But you know, I wanted to join. I wanted to be a member, but the minister was teaching on that we can't do that and how we should treat women, and I was agreeing with it. I was agreeing with it. It was the truth. I knew better. I honestly knew better because I got 6 sisters. Yes, sir. So I knew better. And I knew how my mother had raised me, but I was just living a wild frat house lifestyle. Yes, sir. And I was enjoying it. And I would be, I'd started working later on, a couple of years later, I started working in the corporate world for American Airlines subsidiary company. And I would drive, I'd fly out to where the minister was, and I'd be in the audience saying, "Teach hard, brother minister, teach hard," you know, and saying things with him almost verbatim. But I just couldn't give up my impediments. Yes, sir. And so later on, I met a nice young lady, my previous wife, my previous wife. Yes, and she had gotten pregnant, and I made a decision. I said, I cannot continue this lifestyle. Knowing I was going to have a little girl, I said, I can't continue this lifestyle. So I'm going to the mosque. I'm going to be a little. I was trying to get some of that off me, brother. Yes, sir. So yes, sir. Okay. But that's how I came in and made up with my mind made up to just follow the minister and give up all of that past stuff.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir, brother Ivan X says that you trained him, and to make sure I give you the greetings. Walaikum salam, sister Naima Muhammad, and thank you all for watching Off the Record this evening. Okay, brother Captain, what was it like in the years? Because I hear so much of I was young. Many of my siblings were very young in the 90s when you all were the nation of the glory days, the 90s is popping and this and that. And I see the tapes, and you were a captain during this time period. First of all, what was the climate like, and how did you become a captain?
Well, the climate was to such a degree that it was a make it happen, that a captain makes it happen. That was the atmosphere, is that we overcome all obstacles. And every captain that was under Brother Sharif at that particular time, those of us that were striving to be very successful, we didn't make any excuses. We make it happen. That's all he used to say on a hookup, make it happen. And we made it happen. And we learned that we could overcome all kinds of obstacles if we just thought through the situation, and we could call him. The beautiful thing about it, that we could actually access him at any given moment. We could call him and he'd answer that phone, and we could talk to him, and he would share with us. And it didn't matter what city you was in. Timbuktu, Helena, Arkansas, Elaine, Memphis, didn't matter where you were. He'll pop up the next day. You know, so that mentality of make it happen was strongly there. But during the period of time following the Million Man March, we'd come back. A couple of years following the Million Man March, Brother Derek was still the captain at that particular time. Good captain, very good trainer of men. Yes, sir. And he was going through a situation, and so it ended up with me ended up becoming captain and everything. So it was a nice that I was being made the captain, but we was under a little bit of rough times for us at that local time at the local mosque. But his training definitely helped me in getting through that situation. And he and I are still very good friends even to this day.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. Now, who was the minister in Dallas at that time?
That was Brother Jeffrey Muhammad. That's who was the minister at that particular time, and still a good soldier. I mean, he was training. They had the same mentality, make it happen, and that was under our. I mean, that's how we woke up every day. we lived at the mosque. Not literally, but almost literally, because there were times, so many times that we would go home. We'd leave the mosque at 12 and return again at 4 a.m. So we were there all the time, really. And it was a good atmosphere for training and building manhood and teaching us to overcome all obstacles. And we don't make no excuses.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, yes, sir.
Okay. Now you're in Dallas, Texas. You're in what many have known as a murderous state. Most of them, like Muhammad called it, a murderous state. You're down there. Did you ever fear for your life or receive death threats as you are wearing suit and bow ties, proclaiming that the original man, the Asiatic black man, is a god of the universe, and you suit and bow ties, and you down there? Did you ever receive death threats? Did you ever fear for your life? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Well, the only death threats actually was coming from our own people. But there were many times during the wee hours of the morning when we would drive home, in particular myself. There were many times that there was attempts to drive me or run me off the road. There were many attempts of that, I think a lot because of my Fruit of Islam training to drive that saved me, and to be aware of everything around me, behind me, and on both sides and in front of me. Yes, so that's what I know was saving me, because it would be, I could see it coming, and recognize it because of the training that I had received. That was then, in the fights. Oh, we had tons and tons of fights.
Could you please share a story with us, sir?
Well, me and some of the brothers, we'd be on the block, and the fights would come with the local boys from the hood that was still trying to hustle.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
we'd be on the block, and they don't necessarily want us there. Now, some of them, the ones that had spent a little time in the penitentiary, they were familiar with the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
But the ones that were just from the hood, they wasn't too familiar with us the way we were. So, and they would pull up on us, and they unload their cars, and I would call the brothers to attention, and we just tell them, brother, don't aggress us, don't come at us, and we're gonna be fine. But we were in the hood, and somebody would swing a punch, and you'd hear all the former dope boys, or the ones who've been to the penitentiary. You'd hear them in the background saying, "Look at them Muslims get down. Look at them Muslims get down." Brother, we didn't stop till we put them in flight. Yes, I tell the brothers, do not. Once we start, there was always my instruction: we don't stop until they're in flight. When they stop, we stop.
Yes, sir. Oh, wait. Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And what was it about? How did fighting impact the brotherhood as far as bringing y'all closer together and keeping y'all bond still tight until today?
Oh, those are some beautiful war stories, that because we all had each other's back, and that's how we would square. We always understood, and we would train on it, on how we're going to stand when we fight, the ready stands, how we're going to have each other's back, so that our movements where we never left a soldier fighting over in a corner by itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when things happen, we would always engage with everybody being able to see each other, and if one was engaging, we all were engaged. That was our mentality. Don't touch one of our brothers. If it's just one of you, sorry, you got 50 of us on you. Don't touch our brother. So that was always our mentality, which helped build our brotherhood greatly, because we knew that we could always count on each other.
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful. And thank you all for continuing to watch. Brother Captain, did the minister ever get to come through Dallas when you were the captain? And if so, how was that? As far as the pressure of you having that responsibility on your back of the minister coming to your city.
Oh, we loved the minister when he came through. It was tons and tons and tons of pressure. Mm-hmm. But that's when we would always say diamonds shine. This is the time we shine. Yes, so it's not the time to to try to look good at that. At that time you're gonna shine. This is our opportunity to show the minister how much we love him. Yes, and so we always enjoyed when the minister would come. We really did, and it was our chance, and we got a chance to work with the E team, and it was beautiful, brother, really beautiful. I mean, to this day, some of the brothers will call and we talk about that. You know how that was a lot of really good training for us.
Yes, sir. Okay, wonderful. And when the minister would come, would he be speaking in the cities or speaking to college students? Where would he be coming to, like in Dallas?
Here he would come to the church. There were a couple of churches that he would attend, and then they had a nice congregation. You know, during those times, you know, they closed doors on the minister. You know, they promised, but all of a sudden when the minister is in town, it can't happen. So we had one church, Carver Heights Church, that he allowed the minister to speak there, regardless of what his congregation was saying. That brother stood strong with the minister and allowed the minister to speak there. Again, back in the prior to the Million Man March, he spoke at the Black Arts auditorium there, and we packed big numbers in there. So it was great. The atmosphere, the minister has always, I can say, been well received when he come to Dallas. Well received.
Oh, wow. Okay, yes, sir. Brother Martin F. Muhammad says, teach on the war stories. We got him. Yes, sir, Brother Martin. Brother Kente Russell says, now that's some learning points there. Peace. And Sister Teresa Pearl Muhammad, assalamu alaikum, salam, ma'am. I want to say that this podcast is brought to you by my sister Miriam's book, ABC I Love Me, coloring book as well on Amazon. My brother Politically Oppressed video production, and my second book, which is the children's book called Cleopatra. It is on Amazon. Please get those now. If you all have a business and want me to promote on my podcast, let me know. J Imagination on Cash App or inbox me, message me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now, Brother Captain, what was your greatest trial as a captain, and how did you overcome it?
Whoa, greatest trial. As a captain, let me travel in my head.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I had a few, brother. But I would say mainly trial and just getting and remaining a Muslim under hard circumstances, and trying to get along with our ministers, others, providing jobs for the Brotherhood, trying to save my family. I mean, it was some real serious what I consider trials that really make us solid Muslims.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And like that, in particular, as captains, knowing that you're responsible for your family, you're responsible for the local student minister and making it happen, but you're also responsible for making something happen for the Brotherhood. And that's one of the differences I even see to this day, that we have to be able to make something happen and build something that's tangible for the brothers. Of when I say tangible, meaning employment.
Yes, sir.
Creating something that they can make money from, and we be their employers where they can do the work, but also make money at the same time and take care of their families. And I would say for me that those things were always my biggest trial. Like I was trying very hard in those, because business didn't always go well, because I'd maybe, just being very honest and truthful, I'd have some brothers who would steal contracts from me. I mean, just, but that's part of business, not just me being, who Tyrone Muhammad, that's the captain of the Mars. That's part of business. People steal contracts from me. Yes, so it did hurt at that particular time, or those times. That it happened a few times, but but it's okay. It was because I never stopped moving, never stopped going, and still would make a way for those brothers and try to help them as well. So, and that was always the plus side of it. Being able to help the men and then being able to provide when you're doing something that you love to do, that you really appreciate and like doing, and you're able to take care of your family with that, and help the mosque and help the believers, and it was amazing.
What was your greatest joy as a captain?
Oh man, Helping the believers, brother. Helping that is wake up in the morning. As I used to tell my lieutenants by Allah's grace, that if what you were doing doesn't wake you up in the morning in the wee hours of the morning at 1, 2 a.m. with a thought on your mind on how to become better, then you really don't like what you're doing. You're just doing it. But when you're looking and striving to be the absolute best, what you love and want to progress at will wake you up. It will wake you up. You'll think about it. You'll go to sleep thinking about it. And that thought, that talk with Allah while you're sleeping, you get great communication with Allah, and He gives you something that you can take back and put to work, and make your business and your life a lot better. Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. What advice would you give to future fathers?
Future followers?
Future fathers.
Future fathers. Make your children, your wife, I'm going to put that in the right order. Make your wife and your children a priority.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
God, family, nation. Make your family a priority when it comes to working for the mosque, working for yourself. Make your family a absolute priority in spending the quality time with your sons, with your daughters, walking around, through the park, that little quality time that they need, and getting to know them. Because a lot of times the minister has done all this for us and told us many times on we don't have to walk in his shoes. He's already done that for us. Yes, so for us to repeat it, and then some of us have children that don't speak to us, don't like us, because we never gave them that bonding quality time that they needed. So my advice for Fruit of Islam is spend that time with your wife to make your family work. Spend that time with your children to make that relationship with your children work. Mm-hmm. And if you do that would be very positive for you, because a lot of times, in truth, we'll be at the mosque but not really doing anything. That we're there. We just don't want to, because I know if I go home, I gotta spend some time with my baby. I gotta spend some time with my wife. I gotta do something different, and because we don't want to exercise our minds there. And I've fallen in love to this day with fatherhood. Yes, that's mine. And that's my younger sons. I'm their trainer. I teach them how to play basketball. I train them on basketball. I train them in strength training. They're a key priority for me. And I know that I'm responsible for their success, and I want to give them give them all that I know that's inside of me to give.
Yes, sir. I'm coming to you all's comments, and thank you all for watching. Brother Captain, have you ever gone into coaching, or do you coach? Because you sound a lot like a coach.
I actually I do. I coach basketball, and I want to say this. As I always say, I coach basketball with a football's mentality. It's a back mentality. The greatest athletes on a football field, and the greatest athletes, period, in sports are cornerbacks, strong safeties, free safeties. Those DBs are going to be your better athletes. And I teach basketball from a football but defensive back type of mentality. And train young men. So I do have I got a 12U and a 10U basketball team with roughly with my son's age group. I've been coaching that, got a nice crew of young men. And my sons, I was complaining back when my sons were 5 and 6, I was complaining about their coaches, that I didn't like what I was seeing. And my 6-year-old looked at me and said, "Well, Daddy, why don't you coach us?" And I've been stuck there because I didn't intend to coach. I only intended to train. Yes, so because I love strength training, I have right now I have a strength training program for youth, strictly geared for youth, age like from 6 to 18. So I have a gym that works with me, and they give me time. They give me all that I want, buy me all the equipment by Allah's permission and Allah's grace. But to train, and it's their biggest program. And when people come in there, they hear, they're like, man, do those children really work? Because all they do is hear me barking instructions and screaming and yelling. And I tell the people, I said, the children love it. All children love discipline. Absolutely. And they love to get the results from hard work. So weight training is a key for them to get it. And one of the things for our people in particular, we teach our people, young men, we set them on football fields, basketball fields, and we let them play all these sports, but we don't strength train. Because we under the old crazy misnomer that if you strength train, you'll stunt your growth. But we don't know of one case in history where that's proven true. but I always thought it was crazy. I said, but you'll let your son go play football and with a big old boy with 120 pounds riding on his back. So it was that. So my sons have strength trained their whole life. They don't know a time when they didn't strength train. So and they're growing, and I got a ton of other young men that I would, that was my key. Actually, when I started the security business, I went into the hard parts of South Dallas, go Grand, South Boulevard, the hard knock parts of South Dallas. And I started a strength training program. And they didn't understand how that would work, but I knew that young men loved the physicality of doing things.
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir.
Sir.
I would have a ton of young men, and we only lifted outside. We lift outside. It would be 45 degrees outside. We lifting weights, but when at the end of the night, when I said, shut it down, go inside, they said, yes, sir, Mr. Muhammad. And so it was a training. It was actually life skills that was going on. And I have many of those young men, even to this very day, that still maintain contact with me.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. My sister Naima says, good teaching. Sister Teresa says, all praise be to Allah. Brother Daniel says, good teaching. Brother Martin F. Muhammad says, he and the FOI came through and had my back when I got shot at. He's a true captain. Sister Cherie knew that ASA, you've always been a solid and shining captain, example of an FOI from the first time we met you 17 years ago to this day. May Allah continue to bless you and enrich you and your family. LR, Arkansas. Okay.
They all right. That's it. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Now, I have two more questions for you, sir, if you have time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do.
And thank you all for watching. The next question is, because you came from the 90s, that time everything's intense, hitting into a time where it might not be as intense and as rigid or strict. How do you keep focus and keep your faith in the transition time from the 90s to a time period now?
Well, I noticed that now, as compared to the 90s, that grind for learning the teachings, knowing the teachings, and questioning the teachings was what benefits me to this very day. Is that it was so tight on us about the teachings, even going back to the points of how to eat to live. If there was a brother that was eating outside the times, you might walk over to the brother and say, now, brother, it's not 4 o'clock. It's not 4 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is take this over there and put this over there for you until that 4 o'clock hour. And the brother would have an appreciation for you in doing that. But today is just a little bit different. It's just a more of a kinder, gentler type of fruit. So that's where I would like to see more of the 90s training appreciated rather than condemned. The beautiful thing about the 90s training, yes, we 90s, late 80s training, yes, it ran some men off. But I gotta say yes and hell yes, it held some men in, and a whole lot of us. It made us to see that numbers didn't matter. That whatever was put in front of us, we could do, and we didn't make any excuses. but there was men that were raised and they loved the teaching to this very day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, they're beautiful brothers in the teachings and know that, and they know the teaching. And it is not a question about that. That's one of the things I really love about that 90 brother. But I gotta admit, I still love I'm one of those that I love the new R&B. So I'm with the new brothers as well. I love their different, their swagger's a little bit different than the 90s brother. But I still love it. I still love it because I respect the fact that they're different from us, but not so different that they're not the same as us. Yes, sir. Yes, so what I see, I definitely, I really love from them, and I can see the progress in what is not made as a hard form. It's made more of in a softer form, so I can truly appreciate what we're doing now, and even to the point that when we take 90s, it was the FOI class was the captain's class. That was the captain's class, and the captain could teach his class. But today, the FOI class, which I love it, is we got a curriculum. And a beautiful curriculum that we can go in, and when I go to class, it's going to be like a study group. And you can get excited about going and learning in class, in that FOI class, really. So it's at times back in the 90s, it'll be like, man, I don't want to go to FOI class. Cap going to be all on my case. But but now when you go to class, it's like you have to work to get into the mind of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. When you're reading and studying, that's the objective, to get into that mindset. So that's that new wave flavor that I really love.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, my last question is, and thank you all for watching, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Whoa. Well, I want my legacy to be that I was a helper of the messenger of Allah. I love my wife and children. That's sufficient for me. If I can just go down as one of those that was a helper, I ain't trying to be so, if there was magnificence with it, I'd take it. But if there's no magnificence with it, I'm fine in just being labeled as a helper of the messenger of Allah. I'm fine with just that, brother.
Thank you so a lot. Well, Brother Captain, I want to say, for those who don't know, ever since I was a child, when I would see you, sir, and the brothers from Dallas always knew that I was looking at a strong FOY and a leader of men, but an enforcer. There was something strong about Brother Tyrone. I said, okay, I didn't know who he was. I said, Dad, I know who that guy is, but I know he's coming.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah, brother. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
And ever since I've seen you since then, you've always been nice, and you're a great representation of the FOI military, and of course of the Omega Psi Phi as well, brother.
Yes, sir. Q Psi Phi the day I die. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir.
Please thank your family on behalf of myself and our family for their sacrifice, your wife and your children, because we know you cannot do it without sacrificing them and their time. So we appreciate your sacrifice, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you having me, even for the very thought of even considering me, brother. I really appreciate that.
Anytime. I look forward to seeing you in person, sir, to hear some more war stories one-on-one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir.
Please give your family greetings as well. And thank you all for watching. Yes, sir.
Okay. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you again, sir.
Yes, sir.